after Yosef solved the dreams of Paro, the pasuk in Parashat Miketz say to us, and right now, Paro should found a wise and smart man and going to put him over Egypt. And it's, look, weird. How come Yosef jump and give advice without even being asked from Paro? But Rabbi Yehuda Tzedakah says in the name of his rabbi, Rabbi Ezra Atiyah, Zechronam Levracha, that it's not Yosef says, and now, ve'ata. Rather, Paro asked, so what are we going to do right now? And this question, what are we going to do right now? What my job is here? Why Hashem brought me here? This is the true job of a believer Jew. What my job in the whole system around. We're going to bring a true story, mind-boggling, unless your soul is in a repair, from the book V'amcha Kulam, that Rabbi Hanoch Teller collected many true stories. A little bit long, hope you're going to be able to stay. Group of taxi drivers would meet on coffee and at cakes once in a couple of weeks to hear weird and interesting stories from the life of the drivers. One day, a driver in the name of Chaim said, I got a story that you never heard in your life. All of them smiled because usually that's how they start their stories. And that's what Chaim said. That he was called to do a tour to a tourist, a millionaire Jewish tourist that came to Israel. And he said, you, I guess, already know how he was dressed. One says, yeah, for sure, he had like very colorful, slick, silk shirt. Chaim said, yes, you're right. And another guy said, like bright, stylish jeans. Chaim smiled. The other guy jumped, this kind of haircut. Chaim said, but the main thing you forgot. Another driver smiled and he said, yeah, a cigar that's worth $100. Chaim says, very good, because about this cigar, this is the story going to go all around because of that cigar. He said, the Jew came into the car, take off his shoes, sat on the back chair, put his leg to the front chair, light his cigar. It was so smelly. Good, expensive cigar, but so suffocating. I said, I'm going to light my own cigarette to try to kill the smell. And the millionaire told me, wait, here I'm going to give you a cigar and I'm going to light your cigar. You move forward, light the cigar, and the sleeve of his hand went up a little bit. And when I saw his hand, I started to shake. I stopped the car right away aside, and the millionaire asked him, what happened, what happened? And he said, you got a number on your hand. It's from Auschwitz. I said, and I'm sweating. And the person looked at me and he said, what do you think? I was born with a golden spoon in my mouth. I paid all my debt already. I'm the only one that's left from my family. My brother was in the line for the death. In the death line in front of me. I thought maybe he was going to be able to survive. But no. Nobody stayed from my family. Chaim said, most of you know my history. Like 20 years ago, I came to Israel for a trip. We went all around, up and down, north, south, east, west. At the end, we were so bored already from going around. We didn't have any more money, so we said, let's go and volunteer in a kibbutz. And then also that, the kibbutz and the fake ideology was already like, drive ourselves nuts. One day I didn't even want to eat the breakfast. It was so boring. So I went to work on the tractor, my job. My job was to take apples and put them into some kind of a big machine, like a mouth with knives inside, that would chop the apple to be able to make some kind of, juices or stuff. I don't remember even. I went up on the tractor hands and start to push the apples. I guess it was a little bit wet and slippery, and I slide all of a sudden into the machine and the knife cutting all the apples. I knew that's nobody gonna hear me, but I was screaming anyway, even though everybody were eating. I tried to jump and I was not able to come out. First time of my life, I was davening and I said, Hashem, I'm gonna die. I haven't done anything meaningful in my life. Let me please live, Hashem. I felt unbearable pain, and before I fainted, I saw a hand grabbing me. I thought that was the angel of death in the beginning. No, that was Zalman. Zalman was a Holocaust survivor, got nobody. The kibbutz took him in to be a member, and he never said a word. In the last conscience, I saw the number on his hand. I never forget this number. After a year in a rehab, came out, not with my real leg, but with a prosthesis. And I remember my promise to Hashem that I haven't done anything meaningful. I started to learn a little bit about Judaism. I started to become a little bit religious even. Shabbat, small things here and there. After a few years, I got my Israel ID, citizenship, and I became pale when I saw the numbers of the ID. That the first fourth number exactly are the same of the first numbers on the hand of Zalman. One day, we was able, Baruch Hashem, to get our phone line, and I almost fainted when I heard that the last numbers are exactly as the last numbers on the hand of Zalman. The number was driving after me all my life. And right now, back to the car, this guy, this millionaire tourist, sent his hand, and the number is the one that's followed the number on the hand of Zalman that saved my life. I told him, I apologize, I'm not taking you right now to Yerushalayim. I did the U-turn on the highway, ignoring all the honks and screaming. The guy become pale, this tourist, start to scream. I ignore, I hold my steering wheel, not in able to drive, but in order not to fall down. After 2 hours of driving, very quick, we was able to reach to the kibbutz. I was davening that Zalman's still going to be alive. I saw him. And when I saw him, I jumped out of the car and I asked, Zalman, do you remember me? Some kind of a dim spark was in his eyes, but he didn't answer a word. I turned around, I grabbed this tourist from the car, take him out, take the suitcase out, ignore all his threatening and voices that he was making. I took him over Zalman, I took both of their sleeves up, put their hands together. After a minute, it looked like they grasped something. The American said in a very weird, chuckled voice, Soli, Soli. And Zalman answered him, and that was the first time I heard his voice. Mendel, are you alive? And that's how I left them there and I drove away. Chaim, the driver, was not able to speak for a minute. He wiped his sweat. And one of his friends looked at him and he said, Chaim, are you crazy? You even didn't ask for a tip? And Chaim looked up and he said, this tourist, he helped me to fulfill and pay my debt to Hashem. Do something meaningful in my life. And not only that, I was able to pay my debt, my life debt, to Zalman that he saved my life. And you speak about money? This is an unbelievable story about Hashgacha Prati, divine providence, but the truth that each second of our life full with action like that. We just need to open our eyes. Ask Hashem, why did you put me here right now? What I need to do? And by that, looking and asking. And we can learn from Paro. Ve'ata, now what? What should I do to do good? Our life can change unbelievably. Have a beautiful, meaningful Shabbat, Nachat Ruach Klal Israel. Ve'ata, and now, what are you going to do?